All right, you guys, welcome to the Executive Class 2.0. We'll try that over again. But I hope everybody had an awesome week. Tonight's going to be casual and short and sweet and to the point. And Melanie's going to be talking to us tonight about overcoming objections. Melanie is an amazing leader, Melanie Peper. Melanie Remenzi Pepper, but she's an amazing leader, and she's going to join us here a little bit later. And you guys, we are going to have the privilege of having a guest speaker each week. So look forward to that. Look forward to being poured into. Next week, we're going to have Erica Rothenberger on here. You guys, if you're in the Race to Retreat, you know who she is. She's like number 3 leader in action in the whole company. And so she's got a lot of, good to pour into us. And before we do anything, you guys, I just want to take the time to congratulate all of you for being on this call. It is Labor Day weekend. Some of you are, chilling at home. Some of you are driving home from vacation. Some of you are running around right now with your family, but you chose to be present on this call, and that makes you a badass. So I'm very, 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 very excited for all of you guys, all of the leaders that are stepping up. But before we go into anything, talking about, we have a lot of exciting things happening this week. Yeah, that's right, Karen. And some are prepping for a hurricane, and they're still on this call. It's pretty awesome. Does anybody want to, be brave and share a win or a frustration for the week, or a takeaway from Angelique? We're not going to recap the video. So takeaway from Angelique, a win or a frustration. Anybody?
Hey, it's Beth Ann.
Hey,
I have a win and a frustration.
Okay.
So, while I was on vacation, some really good conversations with people. So that was exciting. And had my 5th person go consultant. And so that was all very exciting while I was on vacation. And the frustration was coming back and having that same person drop off a consultant the day I got back. And that just goes to show the power of 100 BV. Because if we're not talking to people about what the 100 BV means, because the person just ordered 74 BV. And it's really, I'm recognizing that more as I'm going through this, because I have people ordering 2 canisters of shake here and, some cleanse here or whatever. But it really is important to make sure that we're talking to people about what the 100 BV is for them and why they want to stay active, because 74 doesn't keep us having consultants. It has us going on and dropping off within the same week. And it was a big lesson for me, for sure.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yep.
I'll share a takeaway from Angelique.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I think that really, really, really resonated with me, especially in terms of building a business and looking to get to executive, because if you're in this to get to executive, then you're not just reaching out to people about the physical aspect of Isogenics, you're reaching out to people about the financial aspect of Isogenics, because that's how you create a consultant, is to cast that vision. And one of the objectives that she talked about was, I don't want to be that person. And, I think we all have people that think that, and I know prior to getting into this business, I felt that way when I had friends that would transition Facebook pages or reach out to me. And, I loved what she had to say. She just simply took that and turned it and put it right back at them and said, well, wait a minute, do you think I'm that person? Because there is a right way and there is a wrong way to do this, and if you think I'm that person, then obviously I'm not doing it the right way. And, I think just by taking that and turning it back onto them is just absolutely amazing, because I guarantee you no one in your circle is going to be like, yeah, you are totally that person.
Right.
But and it was just very eye-opening. I really liked that.
Love it. Angelique's call was like, for me, it was amazing. It was really good. Anybody else?
I'll go. So I have a couple wins as well for this week. I got 2 enrollments, and I cycled and got my Team Builders coupon. So it was a really big week for me. So it was super exciting. And then my biggest takeaway from Angelique's video too was for, overcoming objections, saying to that person, what makes you say that? Like, I didn't even think about that. Like, that to me was huge and like light bulb moment, like putting it, like, Melanie said, back on them, like, well, what makes you say that? Because I've gotten people who've said, well, there's a ton of sugar in your shakes. And I'm like, what are you reading? Because if you're reading the same thing I'm reading, that's not the case. So I think just, asking more questions and, asking where they're coming from and kind of meeting them more where they're at instead of hitting them with all those objections and coming off defensive is such a different way and a better way almost to go about it. So I just really, really like that point.
Yeah. So good. Love it. Way to go, Abby. You're a rock star. Woohoo. Way to go, girl. I'm proud of you. Way to celebrate yourself too. That's necessary. Yeah.
I want to celebrate Sarah Taylor. She doesn't have her video on. Girl, put your video on. Anyways, this is her first executive call, but I think her mother-in-law, Lucy, is sitting right there. And she has Lucy has lost 20. Sarah herself has lost 30 pounds. And Lucy, I think, is going to turn associate because she's having people come up to her at church and say, tell me what you're doing. And she's 77. Am I right, Sarah? Are you there? Sarah? Yeah.
Yes, she's hearing thumbs up. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. There you are. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Sarah. Anyway, so just so proud of them, so excited because this is a great opportunity for Lucy to be able to share and make some money, and I'm so happy about that because she's on a fixed income and we can all use more money, right, Lucy? Right, Sarah? Yeah. So anyways, well, welcome to the call, guys. Go ahead, Sarah.
So this is my mother-in-law, and she's just hanging out. We had just actually talked a little bit about the opportunity and what Isagenix can do for her. And we've been talking about how it's team. It's all about team. And Karen had us over to the house this week, and we talked about goals and trying to figure out what's my best next step. And so that was really good for me to hear. What are the things I need to think about next that would most benefit myself, my business, and the people around me. And that was one of the reasons that I talked to my mother-in-law. She lives with us. She's been loving Isagenix, and that whole idea of a fixed income, a little bit of extra money would go a long way in her budget. And so she's really praying about joining, whether or not she's going to join or not. And so she's been thinking about it a lot. And it's good to know that there are people around and supporting. And we were just sitting here talking about it when Karen was like, hey, hop on. So I'm like, do you want to watch with me? And so that's why she's here. So,
that's awesome. That's so cool. I love that, you guys. And Sarah, I love it. And I just have to say, like, never ever think that this isn't for somebody. It's for every single person. Everybody can benefit from Isagenix. So cool. All right. Anybody else? Anybody have other takeaways from Angelique or a win or a frustration for the week?
I'll share a quick frustration. Can you guys hear me okay?
Who is this? Casey. Hi, Casey. Yeah.
Okay. So my biggest frustration as of late is I'll have a lot of people interested. I'll send them information. They'll be like, yeah, that sounds good. And then I get silent. Like I go through follow-ups in my messages and it's just all blue. Like it's just me. I see them reading it and there's nothing. So I'm like, how many times do I bug these people? So I'm not that person. I don't want to be that person. But I still want to try to like love on them. But at the same time, I get nothing back. So that's my biggest frustration right now.
And I think that's a frustration. Thank you, Casey, for sharing that, because I think we all feel that way a lot, So Lindsay Winia has a really great rule that she follows, and it's the 2 by 2 by 2 rule, and it's 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. I would write that down. And then after that, it's like 6 months, and every so often she'll follow up with them. Right now we have the shake release, so it's a great way to follow up. We also have the free shipping. So that's a great way to follow up. And don't be afraid to say these words. Hey, when we originally chatted, you said you were very, very interested in doing Isagenix. Do you still feel that way, or would you like me just to take you off my list? And it's the idea of, ghosting isn't a bad thing. Ghosting's actually a good thing because they're not saying no. And most people are just really nice and they don't know how to say no. People don't know how to say, no, I'm not ready yet. They just don't know how to say that. So, and so don't be afraid to say that. Don't be afraid to say, and you know what? And the thing is this is what's going to happen. No, please don't take me off your list. I'm so sorry. I'm just not ready. Or yes, please take me off your list. And you're like, sweet, done. I'm never going to talk to this person again. Thank you. Lesson release.
Yeah, I pray that they'll just give me an answer, whether it's yes or no, so I can start walking home.
Right. Well, then just ask them the question. Do you want off my list? Because it's, and those are, some things that, I do. And I learned that from Lindsay Winia. She's got a great little formula that she follows. So, all right. Anybody else before we move?
I have a win, I think.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
So I went to U of M this week for my yearly follow-up with them. And they were just so excited about how I've been doing. And I explained to them the isogenics of the shakes I've been on. And they were looking over and they were so happy that I was on them that they actually took down my information and they're going to talk to other patients about it. And if anybody's interested, they're going to call me. So I hope that helps business-wise. But I told them, I said, it's not just about my business. It's about helping other people. And I see what it's doing to my husband and my mom. And I'm going to be getting my mother-in-law on them as well because she sees what it's doing to my husband. And I felt that was really good for me because U of M doctors were even like, wow, this is doing really good stuff for you. And they're going to let other patients hear about it and see if I can help them on it. So that was my big thing this week.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sherry. Okay, I'm tongue-tied. You guys, that's just like so affirmed in the nutrition that we have, and truly if a medical professional says, don't use isogenics, it's CYA all day with them. That means they don't know anything about it. But, Sherry's doctors are obviously educated. They understand what's in the products. And I mean, that's a win all day. And it helps me. Sherry told that to Glenn told that to me. I'm even more affirmed in the nutrition, and that's just awesome, Sherry. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. And that's a huge win. Like that is like, wins don't always have to be enrollments. So cool. All right. Anybody else?
Sorry, Melina. I just want to clarify for some of my Florida friends, that's not University of Miami. That's University of Michigan.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Which is a bigger deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so you guys, real quick, anybody else? Because we're going to keep going. Okay.
Melanie, I wanted to say something. Now, as you know, my mother has ALS, and it's a bulbar ALS, and she goes to Grand Rapids every 3 months to the ALS clinic, and the doctor there was telling her to drink what is that
Ensure.
Drink. Ensure. And I've been supplying her with isogenics, and the doctor actually is rather surprised that her progression hasn't progressed hasn't progressed. She believes that it's because of the shakes, and he said, well, if those shakes are working for you, then keep on doing it. So I just wanted to share that.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ron. That's just another thing that helps build our belief. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, you guys, really quick before we move on, I do want to share my one takeaway from Angelique, and that was teach your people how to fish. We have a tendency, and I am guilty too, and instead of, giving people articles, specifically for questions that they ask, this was a great example. Send them isogenicshealth.net, the whole site, and instruct them how to use the search engine. I thought that was absolutely incredible. It was mind-blowing. It's so simple, but, when people ask me specific things, I will literally go and find, a specific tool to give them. But, instead, that was just teach them how to fish, you know, and bring them up to be leaders and self-sufficient, you know. And when we constantly spoon feed people, we're the workhorses. We're the workhorses. And you guys, that's not the nature of network marketing. That's not what this is necessarily, you know, designed to be. And so that was just a huge takeaway for me, you know, and my gears started going, and I'm like, how can I apply that in other, first of all, areas of my life? And, you know, how can I apply that, you know, with leading our team and, you know, with supporting, you know, coaching people through cleansing and everything else, teaching them how to fish instead of, you know, spoon feeding them, you know, and really leveraging my time. And, you know, that was a huge takeaway, and just doing it with such grace, you know. And this is just how we do things, you know. You're going to learn on your own. And I loved that. That was my biggest takeaway. So, all right, you guys. So before we bring Melanie on, a couple of things. We have salted caramel. Woo! It's so exciting, you guys. It's being released on Tuesday. People will be able to get into their back offices at like 9 a.m. Eastern time. You are free to post, blow up social media, do whatever it is that you want to do. Now, 8 p.m. Eastern today was when they wanted people to wait. But you guys, I really encourage you to post on your stories, do polls on your stories. Say you're doing pre-orders, you know, for new members, you know, and roll the salted caramel and the promotion into the same post, you know. And then personal messages. Posting and praying will not get you very far if it gets you anywhere at all. So definitely send personal messages to all your personally enrolled. Let them know. There's a little bit of a catch with this one. So you can only order 3 canisters of shake. That is only equivalent to 84 BV. And so, you know, Beth Ann was just talking about the power of 100 BV. So, you know, teach them how to fish, you know, make sure you add something else onto that order, you know, one other thing. And they can place multiple orders of 3. It's just 3 per order. It's interesting. I'm just kind of like, okay, this is different. I mean, I think they're trying to level the playing field, because some people will be able to get on really early and they order like 20 canisters and then it's gone. So I think, you know, Isagenix is just really trying to be fair. But, you know, make sure, you know, because if they place an order for just 3 canisters, that's not 100 BV. So make sure you help your people understand that. And something that I suggest everybody does is really look at this week as a week to rank advance yourself and rank advance your people. How can you help your people rank advance? And you guys, salted caramel is a yummy fall flavor, and it's a very no pressure post. If you give someone a post and you give them a pretty picture and say, hey, let's go ahead and put this on your personal page and see if we can, you know, help share the love of Isagenix. All right. Share the love of Isagenix. You don't have to say, let's turn you consultant or let's do this, you know, how can we share the love of Isagenix and get the word out about this flavor? So just a couple of tips, you know, that, you know, work, you know, well, you know, but really shifting your thinking to, okay, I'm going to cycle this many times, but add a layer to, can I get my first 5 cycle bonus? Can I get to 1 star? Can I get to 2 star? You know, and then who on my team can I turn consultant or manager or director this week? Who can I help get there? You know, because that's when your business changes, is when you support your people and your people grow. Next week, the Living Your Ideal, next week's ISA Life Success Call is going to be about your ideal life. So hosting an event, you know, it's going to be all about how to host an event. So you guys have a challenge, and that's to get an event on your calendar, you know. And so Amanda Bice and I just hosted an event Friday at my house, and we did have a major win. You know, we spent a lot of time this time around sending messages. We went live before the event. We felt like we were very prepared for the event, and we had 2 people there, and we drew circles. They were interested in the opportunity. We talked about the quadrant, rich dad, poor dad. You know, we just went all in to the event. You know, so instead of just creating an event and inviting 500 Facebook friends and praying somebody comes, messaging them and following up with them and posting in the event and going live and really just being intentional about, having those connections and inviting people to your events. Think about it this way. You'd rather invite 5 people that actually came than invite 500 that don't show up. And so that's, just making that shift, you guys. It's all about making those genuine, authentic connections with people, and maybe going and meeting your new neighbor and saying, hey, I'm having this. One of the people was my neighbor and she's going to enroll this week. It was awesome. It was great. And so, so that's it. That's all I have for announcement wise. And don't forget, you guys, we have the promotion this week for free shipping for $150 orders. And Melanie is going to hop in here and she's going to talk about how she overcomes objections, just for a few minutes. So get your notebooks ready, you guys. And Melanie, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay.
Really quickly though, to kind of piggyback off what Melina was saying about leveraging what we've got coming out, if you have people in your back office who have not yet transitioned to associate or who have done that and are sitting on membership codes, that's another massive thing, because they have the ability to offer free membership, free shipping, and you get to leverage the fact that this amazing fall flavor is coming out. So that is an incredible way to rank advance your people and to rank advance yourself. So if you've got those people, you really want to message those people right now and pour some serious love into them, give them some confidence, and really encourage them and help them do it. They would be perfect people to draft a post and give them a pretty picture like what Melina was saying and just say, hey, let's put this out there and see what happens. So I just wanted to plug that in. Okay. So so Melina asked me if I would talk about overcoming objections. And I think part of the reason that she asked me to do that is because Amanda Bice has recently shared like 1 million times that I reached out to her 27 times before she said yes. And I actually have quite a few people. Jessica Wolverton, who went to Nashville with us. I had been talking with her for 2 years before she said yes. And I have a couple other people on my team that are just the same way. And, I think the biggest thing for me is, being the person, and this is going to sound a lot like Angelique, but, I just do a lot of what she does, being the person that people can trust. I think that is so important. You need to lead with love. You need to lead with integrity. And people see that and people respect that. And when people feel as though they can trust you, I think that's a big thing. I think the other thing too is understanding that, no doesn't mean no. So Casey, when you were talking about, people not responding to you, that has happened to me a ton. And a lot of times when that happens, I have had people who said to me, oh my gosh, I saw your message. I meant to respond to you. I just got busy, and then life happens, and that happens to us too, And so, they may have very well seen it. They may have very well had every intention of responding to you, and then life happened, and it slipped their mind, So until someone literally looks at you and says, you are absolutely insane, stop messaging me, okay? Which, by the way, has never happened. Even when I message someone 27 times, it just hasn't happened. And again, it's all in how you approach it, coming from a place of love, coming from a place of servitude, coming from a place of, I have a solution for you, coming from a place of, I absolutely love these products, and when you are reaching out to people, be 10 foot tall and bulletproof. You guys, you have the best products. You have the best company. You have the best solution. You have the best compensation plan, and when you go into that, knowing it, believing it, it doesn't matter what people say to you, it might sting for a second, but the simple fact of the matter is, you just keep going. I think it's also really important to understand that I think a lot of times in the beginning for me, I got caught up in, oh my gosh, what do I say? And oh my gosh, what do I do? And when I finally got past that objection in me, it made things a lot easier. You have to just start speaking. You have to just start doing and understand that you're going to learn and grow as you do. I mean, Melina and I joke all the time, like when we go back and look at some of the very first messages we sent, it's a wonder that anybody ever wanted to sign up with us, but we've learned and we've grown. And, part of that being 10 foot tall and bulletproof too now allows you to ask the hard questions and sometimes say the hard things, like what Melina was saying, hey, you told me, that this was something that you really wanted to do. And, if it's not, that's okay. But I just need to know, do you want me to take you off the list? And sometimes you just have to be that bold. Sometimes you just have to be that blunt. And so those are just some of the things, obviously, that I do. And when people don't message me right away, the key thing is just loving on them. Amanda and I were talking about this at her event just the other day. In fact, she said it to someone, that the way that I would message, it was never, you have to do these shakes, or, oh my gosh, this salted caramel is coming out, you have to do it. It was, hey, I saw that you guys just had an amazing vacation. You had some absolutely wonderful photos. It looks like you guys created some phenomenal memories. I am so happy for you. And then I go into, hey, I just wanted to share with you really quickly that we've got free shipping coming up, so make it personal. The scripts are great, guys, but if you are not being authentic with what it is that you're doing, for people who really know you, it's going to show. Those are really like the big things that, that I would share with. And I think part of it for me being a former Division I college athlete is, and having sold jewelry, I sold jewelry for a long time. So objection is something I'm really used to, is to not take it personally. And if you haven't had the opportunity to read the 4 agreements, you really need to do that. Agreement number 2 is to not take things personally. It's never about you. It's always about them. Maybe the timing isn't right. Maybe they've got something else going on in their life. You don't know. But if you cave the second someone tells you no, if you don't look at it as an opportunity to overcome, if you don't look at it as an incentive, I just get really excited sometimes when people tell me no, because I'm like, okay, I'm not going to take no for an answer. So you just have to kind of get that grit in there and be willing to do that. And then obviously, I think we can all say that we've become better through having some of those tough conversations and those wall kicking moments. So embrace it, love yourself through the process. And know that this too shall pass, and don't ever give up. Figure out what your why is, keep it in the forefront of your mind. And no matter how many times someone tells you no, understand that it's not necessarily no. It's probably just not right now, and just keep reaching out. That's what I got.
I love it. Thank you, Melanie. Hope you guys are taking notes. Rockstar. Woo! Okay, so it's 8:30. And I said, we're going to keep this short and sweet. Everything that's said, everything that has been said was needed to say. And so does anybody have anything that they'd like to just add before we hop off?
Can I say something?
Hi. Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to pop in earlier. I know you were trying to get Melanie out here. So this is it fits perfectly with what you said, Melanie, and thank you for what you said. But also goes along with something that Angelique said. And it just, when Angelique was talking about, I can train you, I can train you, I can train you, I can pour into you. And some of you guys just really like, what did she call it? Inspirational entertainment. But you have to go and do it. And I was just like, okay, Caitlin, you gotta choose. Are you a person who just likes being around people pouring into you, or are you gonna let them pour into you and then do it? And it's kind of like Melanie's. It's different, but it's similar. You just gotta keep going. You just gotta keep going. So.
Yes, I love it. That's so good. It's so true too, guys. It's You either going to go or not go, either going to do or not do, and those that do and keep going and doing, it's a total game changer. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Caitlin, you guys, because awareness is a game changer in itself. Just being aware of what you're actually doing and what you're like receiving and what you're putting out there is huge. So thank you for that, Caitlin. But you guys, that's it. That's all we got for right now. So let's take this time, guys, telling you right now, this works. Blow your stories up about salted caramel. Make a Facebook post about salted caramel. Instagram too, if you're on there. And then send personal messages to every single person. Be authentic, lead with love, have your best week yet. It's already happened. I'm believing it. I'm receiving it. It's done. It's handled. So love you all. Have an awesome week. And we're still praying for Florida. Florida, you are in our hearts. We love you guys very, very much. So, all right, guys, have an awesome evening. See ya.